The soul of a comet is written in light. As these cosmic icebergs approach our Sun, its intense radiation heats their surface, causing a cloud of sublimated gas and dust to erupt around them. This cloud, known as the comet, is a temporary atmosphere, a ghostly shroud that can grow larger than planets. And it is within this shroud that the comet reveals its deepest secrets. The science of spectroscopy is our tool for reading this story. It is a technique of almost magical power, yet its principle is beautifully simple. When sunlight, which contains all the colors of the rainbow, passes through the comet, the different atoms and molecules within the gas cloud absorb very specific frequencies, or colors, of that light. Every element, every molecule, has a unique spectral fingerprint, a barcode of dark lines that tells us it is present. By capturing the light that has passed through the comet with our powerful telescopes and splitting it with a spectrometer, we can see these dark lines. We can read the barcode. This is how we know, with absolute certainty, that comets are made of water ice, ammonia, methane, carbon monoxide, and a cocktail of complex organic compounds. It is a method we have honed for over 150 years, a tool that has allowed us to analyze the chemical composition of stars and galaxies billions of light years away. It is one of the most reliable and trusted techniques in all of science. It does not fail. When 3I/Atlas began its journey through our system, the world's great observatories turned this powerful tool upon it, expecting to read a familiar story. They expected to see the familiar barcodes of water, carbon, and nitrogen. They were prepared to find a ghost, but they were not prepared for the ghost to be screaming in a language the universe had never heard before. The initial spectral readings that came back were not just unusual, they were incoherent. The data was riddled with absorption lines that were shifted, broadened, and in some cases, completely unidentifiable. The machine was working, but the soul of the comet was an enigma. This was the first sign that 3I/Atlas was not just another visitor, but a profound violation of what we thought we knew. The first layer of the enigma that stunned the scientific community was not found in a new, exotic substance, but in the familiar building blocks of life itself. The anomaly was hidden in the isotopic ratios. To understand the gravity of this, one must understand that an element is defined by its number of protons. Carbon, for example, always has 6. However, an atom can have a varying number of neutrons in its nucleus. These variations are called isotopes. Carbon-12 is the most common, but carbon-13 and the radioactive carbon-14 also exist. The crucial point is that our entire solar system, from the Sun to the planets to the most distant comets in the Oort cloud, was formed from the same primordial cloud of gas and dust. This means that for any given element, the ratio of its different isotopes is a constant, a fundamental chemical signature for our entire cosmic neighborhood. It is our system's DNA. When the spectral data from 3I/Atlas was meticulously cleaned and analyzed, the results were impossible. The isotopic ratios were fundamentally wrong. For example, the ratio of nitrogen-15 to nitrogen-14 was inverted compared to anything ever measured in our solar system. The ratios of oxygen-17 to oxygen-18 were so alien that they didn't fit any model of stellar nucleosynthesis that could have occurred in our galactic region. It was like analyzing a rock from Earth and finding that its water was not made of H2O, but of some unknown variation. This finding has only two possible, world-shattering explanations. The first is that 3I/Atlas was formed in a corner of the universe with a completely different history, a place where the types of stars, the frequency of supernovae, and the very process of element creation were unlike anything in our galactic vicinity. It would mean the universe is not as uniform as we believed. The second explanation is far more direct, and far more terrifying. The material in 3I/Atlas was not formed naturally. It was processed, engineered. The specific isotopic ratios were not an accident of stellar formation, but the deliberate result of an advanced technology, perhaps the byproduct of a fusion process or a molecular manufacturing system we cannot even comprehend. It was the first indelible fingerprint of artificiality. If the alien isotopic ratios were a quiet, unsettling whisper of artificiality, the next discovery was a deafening, reality-breaking scream. As scientists struggled to identify a series of sharp, powerful absorption lines in the spectrum that matched no known element, they began to consider the most radical theories in nuclear physics. Our periodic table of elements is a map of stability. Beyond uranium, element 92, every element is unstable, created in labs and decaying in moments. However, for decades, physicists have theorized the existence of an island of stability, a hypothetical region of the table, perhaps around element 114 or 126, where a magic number of protons and neutrons could allow superheavy elements to be stable, lasting for thousands or even millions of years. This has remained the holy grail of nuclear physics, a theoretical paradise we have never been able to reach. Finding a naturally occurring stable superheavy element is considered a physical impossibility. The cosmic forces that could create them, such as the collision of neutron stars, are too chaotic to produce stable configurations. They simply should not exist in nature. The spectral data from 3I/Atlas, however, told a different story. After months of secret analysis and running every possible simulation, a small, highly classified team of physicists reached a consensus. The unknown spectral lines were a perfect match for the predicted energy signature of a stable isotope of element 120. They had found an element that cannot exist. The implications of this single data point are almost too vast to articulate. It is a smoking gun of unparalleled significance. The presence of a stable superheavy element is the ultimate proof of technology. It is a material that, by its very existence, proves that it was manufactured. The energy required to forge such an element and keep it stable would be colossal, requiring a level of technology that is, to us, indistinguishable from magic. This was not a comet. This was a vessel, a piece of hardware, or a weapon, built from materials that our own science can only dream of. The discovery was immediately classified at the highest possible level, a secret so profound that it could never be allowed to reach the public. The ghost in the machine was not a ghost at all, it was the machine itself. The confirmation that 3I/Atlas was carrying manufactured materials, including a physically impossible superheavy element, immediately shifted the question from, what is it, to, why is it here? The purpose of this alien material became the most urgent and terrifying question humanity has ever faced. The top-secret global task force assigned to this problem developed three primary competing hypotheses. The first is the engine theory. The material is the wreckage of a propulsion or power system. The alien isotopic ratios represent the structural components and fuel byproducts of an advanced interstellar engine, perhaps an antimatter reactor or a zero-point energy module. The stable superheavy element, with its unique nuclear properties, could have been the core component of this system, a room-temperature superconductor or a power source of unimaginable efficiency. In this scenario, 3I/Atlas was a ship that suffered a catastrophic failure upon entering our system. We are not dealing with a message, we are dealing with the debris field of a crash. The second, more philosophical, hypothesis is the message theory. The material is a cosmic archive. The discovery of alien isotopes and impossible elements in the debris of 3I/Atlas would undoubtedly be the most significant event in human history. So why isn't it the headline on every news channel? Why are the world's governments and space agencies silent? The answer is as simple as it is terrifying. A global conspiracy of silence was immediately and ruthlessly enacted. The moment the anomalous data was confirmed, it was classified above top secret, a secret deemed too dangerous for public consumption. The rationale was clear: the revelation of undeniable proof of alien technology would shatter the very foundations of our society. It would trigger the collapse of religions, the crash of global markets, and widespread social panic. No government on Earth was prepared for that level of chaos. The cover-up was methodical and absolute. The original, raw spectral data sets from observatories in Chile, Hawaii, and space-based telescopes were quietly scrubbed from public servers, replaced with corrected and normalized data that showed a perfectly ordinary comet.